Pieces, episode 4.
Yep, number 4. The last one we did was broken up into a few different segments, so make sure you guys go back and check all those out. A lot of you guys we gave some shout outs to. There's a lot of cool people out there on social media that we follow. A lot of you guys always show us love and give us support. Matter of fact, I'm rocking one of their shirts right now. Zach, really cool dude. He ended up getting his account suspended on Twitter, which is crazy.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Zach is nothing but positivity, right? Yeah. So, he's always just looking, to help people out. He's big into fitness. And he's just a real positive guy, and he got suspended because he had some music playing in the background of one of his videos, which is crazy. He had a really large account, and some people might just be like, damn, it's whatever, like just regrow your account. But you gotta think, like, it takes time and effort.
You're investing into this account, but you don't truly own it.
Right, exactly. And that's, something that I posted about that was like, let this be a lesson for all of you guys out there that are growing. Like if you're trying to grow your social media, whether if you have products that you sell, if you're just trying to get your word out like Zach does, make sure you have other platforms and other ways for people to reach out to you, because at any given moment, whether it be Instagram, I know people who are YouTubers who had their account suspended and that was their main source of income.
Yep.
So it's like now your main source of income is being blocked.
At the very least, get an email list.
Yeah, at the very least, right? And you can control that, and then work on getting your own website, so that way nobody can shut it down. You don't have to worry about any infringements or any of that good stuff.
Yeah, because best believe there's somebody. I'm pretty sure what happened. There's somebody out there that he pissed off, went through all his stuff,
and
looking for,
reported it.
Yeah, I'm about to report this, and that.
Right? There's always going to be people who are mad at you. It doesn't matter if you're all about positivity. You know what I mean?
That'll be the reason they are mad at you.
That's the reason that
it'll piss people off. And I always say this: if you like happy, healthy, making money, you're gonna piss everybody off. Like people are gonna look at you like who you think you are. Right. You know what I mean? Like, how dare you? Like, stay in your place, get miserable with the rest of us. You know? So I think that's what happened, man. The dude is like hella positive, hella cool, hella laid back, and you fuck ass niggas ruined the shit. Nah, but I lost that count at 40K too, or 30K or something like that.
I remember. That's what I was telling people. I'm like, let this be a lesson. It happened to Chris as well, and it happened to a few other people that we know, right? That's kind of, how social media is. When you use these other platforms that you don't own yourself, they can easily block you, kick you off, and sometimes it'll be a while before they even give you an explanation. Some of these accounts probably don't even have to give you an explanation.
No, they definitely don't. It's not, it's crazy because it's a public thing, but it's a private business, right? So whenever they want to boot you, they'll boot you.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy because a platform like Twitter, you see crazy stuff on there. You see porn on there. You see people getting shot, killed on there. But someone can't have a video with music playing in the back. Like, that draws the line. Like, not porn, not someone getting killed on Instagram Live, but someone having music playing in the background. They're like, nope, we draw the line here.
Crazy.
Delete your account. You know what I mean?
Yeah, ludicrous, you're out of here.
Right, yeah, you're out of here.
You're out of here.
All right, man. So you just got back from Europe. So you had you went out to France. You had a good time out there. Talk about that experience a little bit. It's funny because I was on the phone with you when you were at the airport getting ready to go, and they were hassling you for you to get on the plane and try to get out there, which is crazy.
All right, so like y'all watch, this from the beginning, y'all know me and his story that we met in Europe, right? So that's kind of like home base for both of us, right? We always running back to Europe, So I went back out there, man. It was like it was pretty dope because it was a time for me to unwind and like just kick back and kind of hit the reset button. Because,
like a good getaway for you.
Yeah,
You weren't posting that much. I noticed you kind of fell back on posting. You were just really just kicking back and enjoying your time because you've been going hard.
I've been going hard, and I just wanted to, and it was so peaceful. I'm talking about, I'm waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning just to go take a walk. You know what I mean? Like just
daily walk.
Just getting over. So out there, the stock market don't open till 3:30 p.m. So I'm up like 10 hours before the stock market. I'm like, damn, the stock market don't open till later. I'm about to go on a walk. I'm gonna hang out with my family. I'm gonna have some good food. You know what I mean? Go get a workout in, and it was cool to just reset, and it's like peaceful. You could kind of just disappear out there. You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares about. You know what I mean? Like
status symbols. They don't care. What kind of car you drive, what your clothes you wear. That's one of my favorite things about Europe is that they don't care. Right? It's just people are a lot more friendly out there. They treat you more like a person, right? You don't feel like there's a target on your back. You don't feel like people are sizing you up and down, right? In the United States, so many people it's a game of what you have, what you don't have.
Who are you?
Right? Out there, it's just kind of like whatever, right? They like to have a good time. They like to have events all the time. They like to drink their beer, eat their good food, and just have a good time. It's just a peaceful life out there.
Yep.
And if I could live out there, I would, right? I have things going on here that, unfortunately I can't, not saying it's a bad thing, but I wish I could uproot, the important people with me out here. I have a lot of important people with me here. I can't take them with me out there, so it would be nice. But just so people, I think everyone needs to experience that at least once.
Because it was peaceful for me, man. Like you said, I kind of fell back from social media. Like, you know what I mean? I even stopped answering phone calls. Like, you notice, like, I kind of fell back just completely.
Right.
I was gonna kick back, man, and like, when I get back home, I can, hit the gas again. But in the meantime, I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna enjoy the, day by day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna just do what I do. But I'm gonna hit the reset button because I needed it. You know what I mean? I needed to hit the reset button. Like, man, I feel like we've been going like
full throttle.
Yeah, bro. Since the shutdown, like I feel like we ain't taking no breaks,
since February of 2020, I don't think we've taken a break.
Yeah,
since February.
We were just going hard, and I'm like, man, it's time to kind of just kick back a little bit. So now I'm back home, and there's a lot of new things I want to try, a lot of new things I want to do. You know what I mean? And I kind of want to keep pulling back away from social media too. You know what I mean? Like
it is. It's draining. You know what I mean? Because the critics, sometimes all the negativity that people have. You know what I mean? Not necessarily saying it's a wear and tear, but sometimes you just don't want to see it. Some of the things that people are talking about. You know what I mean? So
hey, you know what? That's true. It gets annoying when you're like, the sky is blue and there's 30 people in your ear like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
What about at nighttime? You're like, hey, you know what? If I just put my phone down,
you don't gotta worry. You go and live your life. You don't have to worry about
life is still good.
Like, one of my things, and you talk about a lot too, we like to say, who hit the gym today, right? Some people will spin that to a negative. Everybody can't go to the gym.
What about the disabled people?
You know what I mean? It's like, damn, bro, you guys gotta chill sometimes. Like, yes, there are, you know what I mean? Like, we're obviously, if the shoe don't fit, just let it ride. You know what I mean? So,
hey, you know what's dope? What I was thinking about, it was like, all right, the time that I went out there, I end up in the month of July, I ended up making like $25K from dividends alone, right? So while I was out there, it was like at least once or twice a week I'm getting these dividend payments, and some of them, like the SPG one was big, like 12 grand. I got a few $4,000 ones, and I was thinking, I'm like, damn, I completely beat the system, and if I wanted to stay here or just do this for the rest of forever, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good.
And the way of life out there is so simple.
It's so simple and smooth.
And
in a way, when I was like getting ready to come back, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I won. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. Like, I could just stay here. You know,
and that's dope. And speaking on that, getting the 25,000. That kind of brings me on one of the first topics that we're going to kind of touch on, which is consistency, right? Yeah. Consistency goes so much further than just your financial journey, right?
Anything.
It goes with everything that you do in your life, right? We take our fitness journey, we take it serious, right? You have to stay consistent with it, because any of you guys know out there, if you guys have ever started a fitness journey or diet or whatever it is, you might go hard for a month, but if you slip up for 2 weeks, a month, you literally start back at ground zero.
And it's crazy because anything that you do in life, from walking to like learning a new language to anything, like, like trying to invest or trade, whatever you do the most is what you'll be the best at. Right. You know what I mean? There's a reason when you get up and walk around all day, like you're not stumbling and falling like you were when you were a kid. Because you've been putting in the time, rep after rep after rep.
You kept falling, but you kept getting up and trying again. You kept falling, you kept getting up and trying again.
Whatever you do the most, you're gonna be the best at. You know what I mean? Like, you just naturally develop better skills. You got better coordination. You start seeing things like in slower motion, so that you can start making more plays because you put in so many different reps and so many different iterations. So, like, that's everything. That's the name of the game is consistency.
So when you first started out, I remember you actually even have a YouTube video when you found out about dividends and when you started investing. How much did you start with?
Bro.
So you guys know where he's at now, right? But talk about where you actually started out.
All right, at the very beginning of my investment journey, I started with a $35 purchase, right? But I wasn't specifically, I didn't have a strategy back then, right? So let's fast forward. That was 2011. Let's fast forward to 2017. This is when the idea of me investing for dividends can take care of my bills, can take care of my cost of living. This is when it hit me. It was when
did that light switch turn on about this whole dividend thing, right? Because a lot of people hear dividends, right? You might hear it passing in conversations, but I don't think a lot of people really grasp dividends. So when did that switch hit for you? Like, yo, this is a cheat code.
Yeah,
like,
okay, I'll tell you when it hit. All right, so one day I'm at the kitchen table. My cousin Mike Dees, he moved in with us, and I had a big ass whiteboard like that. Like, I had a big ass whiteboard, and I'm writing down my stock plays and stuff like that. And then he was like, bro, I don't know anything about this shit. Can you explain it to me? So then I'm like explaining stocks to him, and then he was like, all right, so why would you buy this company, not that company? So as I'm breaking everything down, I had to like kind of break it down in simple terms because he didn't know anything.
Right.
And then I'm like, yeah, so think about this. If you put X amount of money in this company, then they're gonna give you X amount of money per month or per quarter, blah blah. He was like, so you mean to tell me all I gotta do is put X amount here, then I don't gotta worry about my phone bill? And I'm like,
Bing.
yeah, I'm like,
Bing.
yeah, like, oh yeah, like, yeah, that's a good way to think about it like that, right?
Yeah.
So then I wipe everything off the whiteboard, and then I'm like, all right, these are the companies that.
What year was this?
This is the end of 2016 going into 2017.
Wow.
So back then I'm in on like AGNC, New York Mortgage Trust. Like there's just a few there's a few of them that I remember from back then I was holding, and I'm like, all right, I know that I'm getting money from the school money that I was getting, the watches, and then the social media brand. I'm like, all right, so I can invest X amount every month, and in 3 months, this will knock out my car insurance, and this will knock out my cell phone bill, and I just keep going from that point.
Yeah.
So this is 2016, 2017. So, but mind you, I'm investing to get $300 in a month. You know what I mean? Like, fast forward 4 years, and it was like $25,000 a month, like dividends.
But the thing is, the most important thing from that is the consistency that you stuck
consistent
with it, right? Because at any given time, you could have been like, all right, I'm getting my cell phone bill covered, and then now let me just hop on to something else and start doing something else, right? But now you're at a point where your mortgage is covered. If you have one, we know you don't have one, but if you had a mortgage, your mortgage would get covered. If you had a car payment, your car payment. Literally anything that you would have in your life that everyone has, right? These bills that we have.
You can build your lifestyle under the umbrella of passive income will take care of this. Therefore, I don't ever have to.
But what so many people do is they're like, man, it's gonna take. Most people won't look 4 years into the future, right? If we know one thing, time is gonna keep going, no matter what, right? A lot of people have this. Well, you can't take it to the grave, or we don't know if we're gonna get there. Well, it's like, okay, you might not, but what about your family if you have kids?
People will wake up every single day for 30 years and be like, I might die today. And then you're like, oh, damn, I'm 35 years old, I ain't accomplished nothing.
Right.
Then another 35 years. Now you're like, I'm 70
and still didn't.
I ain't accomplished nothing because you had this YOLO mentality, which is crazy because if you were to die, then your family's still my family's gonna keep getting these dividends.
Like, so it's like not only did you set yourself up, but you set your kids up. Thanks. You know, you tell, like, once you put the game onto them and let them know the importance of it, and then they keep doing it, and then they put their kids on, they put their kids on. That's what so many of these wealthy families do, right? So, you know, they might have obtained their wealth back then. It was way different. Obviously, we know a lot of people had a corner on the market. There was nothing that we could do. A lot of our ancestors definitely didn't have those possibilities. But now in the age of social media, they don't care what you look like. They don't care who you vote for.
Hey, bro, it's going to be hard to explain it to your children that you didn't take advantage of the stock market drop in 2020. Or this or that. You're like, hey, they're going to be like, hey, Dad, how come you didn't do this? You're like, oh, I don't know. I was too busy, like, telling niggas the sky was green under their comments. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy because, you know, our parents can use that as an excuse. And even now, it's like they still can get into it because it's not too late for them because they're still at a good age to get in. And but you know, when they were coming up at our age, they didn't have those opportunities, right?
And knowledge didn't spread as fast.
Exactly, and our grandparents definitely didn't have it. But people like that are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, if they happen to see it, it's still not too late because they still might have kids and they might have grandkids, and you could be starting to set them up.
So I got a point for you. Okay, so speaking of 60-year-olds, so you and Ashley did the meetup in Ontario, and there was a 60-year-old there. All right, so what happened?
Okay, so this lady was there, and she was coming just for, you know, she liked what Ashley, she had been following Ashley, right? So she seen it, and she loved the positivity that Ashley was talking about. The pallets, she never even heard of anything like that.
So Ashley flips pallets,
right? So she buys liquidation pallets and turns around and resells those items for profit. So we're sitting there, and I'm talking about like real estate, how you can leverage like the FHA, how there's first-time home buyer programs, how certain states you can literally get into real estate for free, leveraging the first-time home buyer program because they'll pay your down payment. So I'm talking about all this stuff, and she's just like, what? Like
nobody ever told me this.
Yeah, like no one ever told her. And I'm like, you know, every 3 years, you're considered a first-time home buyer, so you can use that stuff again every 3 years. So I'm just like laying out the blueprint, and she's just like, wow, my mind is like being blown, right? Like, really, like, is it really this simple and this easy? And I'm like, yes, like with technology and the capabilities that we have just from our phone, you can really, if you have that drive and you have that ambition, you really can get out there. And I was being realistic, right? It's like, if you want to go make $100 this month, it's very, very capable of you doing it, right? Whether it be going to yard sales, selling stuff that you have in your house, family members, you know what I mean? So to make $100, and some people are like, well, $100 ain't shit. Well, $100 for somebody will be something, right?
Takes some pressure off.
And then it's like, if you make $100 this month, why can't you do that again next month? And then why can't you shoot for maybe $125 next month?
Oh, you know what?
Keep going.
Same thing. Back in 2017, I was inviting people to use Robinhood, and I was getting like free stocks. And I remember at the end of the year, I got like $750 in free stocks. And now, you know how we do it with Webull? Yeah. Now I think this, like in the last 12 months, I probably got like $32,000 in free stocks.
Yeah, I ended up getting 4 ETH. 4 free ETH from my free stock.
Yeah, because so he's selling. So what he was doing is, or what he's still doing is, you invite people to an app like Webull, right? They give you free stocks. Let's say they give you $9, $10 stocks, $3 stocks, doesn't matter.
Right.
You sell all those stocks at the market rate, and then you take that money and put it into
whatever you want.
Yeah,
right?
but you were doing it with ETH
because you told me, hey bro, load up on ETH. So I sold all my free stock and turned around, and now look at where we're at, right? So this is 2021. We just hit August 1st, and you guys can look and see what ETH is at now.
And we started loading up $1,600, $1,700.
Right.
Watched it run all the way to 4,000, 4,200. Come back down, still loading up.
Still loading. Didn't pull out because we're staying consistent.
And we're just adding, yeah. But the whole thing is, I'm like, I remember getting $700 a year, inviting people to free stock or getting on Robinhood to get free stocks and being excited about it.
Yeah.
Like, if I keep this going, that's how I've always looked at anything. Like if I do something and it's not like crazy numbers, I'm like, yeah, but imagine what it could be. You know what I mean? Like it was 700. I'm like, bro, imagine when I get more popular on social media. Blah, blah. So to go from like, bro, to make $30,000 in a year inviting people to use Webull,
it's insane.
That's like unheard of. Like imagine trying to explain that shit to your grandpa. Like, hey grandpa, I'm gonna make 30K this year because I'm gonna put a link in my link tree.
And tell people to get it because they can get free stocks as well. And it actually happens. It actually works. You know what I mean?
But it's because I stay consistent.
Because you stay consistent.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's the name of the game.
And you know, it's crazy because I started my fitness journey last year. And I've been staying consistent with it, right? And I ended up dropping like 36 pounds without even trying, just because I started eating better and staying consistent with the gym. So
in the gym every day.
So it's like now it's a part of my lifestyle. So I don't go to the gym to try to get big. I'm not looking to be the strongest guy in the gym. I'm not looking to go for competition. I'm going for myself just because I want to be healthier, right? I'm working out now for my future self. We see that guy in the gym, the older dude.
Oh, yeah. That's just kind of humbling when there's somebody like, you know, they're like 65 plus years old.
And he has one of the best bodies in the gym.
And they're in a better shape than you. It makes you think like, what's my excuse?
Right. So it's like, I'm putting myself in position for when I'm him. And, you know, and when I turn 60, if I stay with it now, imagine I'll be able to do everything with my kids. I won't have to be like, damn, I can't do this because my back hurts. Or damn, I can't do this because my leg hurts. It's like, no.
I just had that experience when I was, you know, with 7, and I'm like, I'm jumping on the trampoline, and I'm like, damn, my knee hurts, my back hurts. I'm like, I gotta get over this hump.
Got to.
I've been fighting this uphill battle to get in shape, but I had these injuries and stuff. I'm like, I have to, because like, when my son want to play soccer, we gonna play soccer.
Right,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, so I want to make sure soccer don't kill me. You know what I mean? I want to make sure jumping on trampoline don't kill me. And then I'm like, yeah, bro, like I see, like you gotta like invest into your body, into yourself, and all that stuff. And you've been going crazy.
Absolutely, man.
And he's at the point now where if he doesn't go work out or if he eats bullshit, it feel abnormal to him.
Right.
Versus when you first start off, going to the gym feels abnormal because you ain't never been a weightlifting guy. You know what I mean? Like,
never my thing. I'm an athlete. You know what I mean? So I was into playing sports. That was always my outlet to stay in shape, was just playing basketball or playing football or baseball.
So now the norm for you is to go work out.
It feels weird if I don't go to the gym. And I tell people, it's like, even if I just go to the gym and get a good stretch in and maybe just hit the treadmill or hit the stairmaster,
as long as you're going,
just doing something, just so I'm staying active.
And staying in the routine.
Yeah, I feel
consistency. That's the name of it.
Consistency, right? So it's like I'm staying consistent with that. And then it's like, you know, with your friendships, right? You gotta stay consistent with your friendships as well, right? Like the things that you guys are doing together, you know, what you guys are doing together, like are you guys holding each other accountable? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like all these different things, your friendships, your relationships, your wealth journey, your health journey. What are you doing for your mental, right? I'm staying consistent with reading these books, right? I've knocked out, I think I'm at 16 books so far for the year that I've read.
Bro, so you're probably on pace for like 30.
Yeah, so I'm trying to stay consistent because I'm reading these different books, and one of the
Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the books that I'm reading, that I read that I really loved is Atomic Habits, and it talks about building these habits. Yeah, building these habits in your daily life that obviously lead to your overall goal. But like for me, going to the gym is now a daily habit for me. So it's a building these good habits that you have, and then it's like also he was talking about multitasking good habits together. So now when I go to the gym, like we listen to audiobooks when we work out. So now
I'm in the gym off podcasts and books and YouTube videos. And I'm like,
I used to listen to music. I used to listen to like rap or something while I work out. But I'm like, why not listen to a podcast or an audiobook? So now I'm feeding my brain with positivity and good stuff, and my brain is growing, and then I'm also getting my workout in. Because
you reinforce good habits all the time. So what's crazy is I realized that like I've always been like podcasts and books while I work out, right? And then like when I realized I was behind in the DeFi curve, I'm like, man, there's a lot I need to learn about DeFi. Yeah. So every time I go to the gym, I'm watching a DeFi video. I'm watching, you know what I mean, like
every time
DeFi
I come over,
donuts,
you got a YouTube video up of DeFi, and it's like
I'll be off the DeFi stuff like all the time. Like I'm committed to it, but why not do this while I'm in the gym? So what I do is driving to the gym. I'm off my 42 Doug, you know, my Babyface Ray, you know, like ESTG, like all that shit. But then when I get to the gym, I'm like, all right, cool.
Now
let me learn. You know what I mean? I'll get to the music on the way back, and therefore when I leave the gym, like, you know, hopefully, you know, I got a good workout in, and I've learned a little something. You know what I mean? Like I learned a little something while I was in there. Because like we're basically machines, y'all. Like we can program ourselves, we can change the way we look, we can change the way we think, we can change like all that. You know what I mean? We can get better in so many different ways. So why not?
Why not?
So the same thing you were saying about how like it would feel like weird for you to not go work out. I feel the same way about investing. Like if I get paid, if I make some money and I don't invest it, I'll feel weird. Like what the fuck are you doing with all this? Like why you got money in your bank account, bro? You know what I mean? Like what you about to do, bro? Like,
you got me feeling like this, right? That's how I feel like.
If I'm not damn near broke, bro, I feel weird about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's how I feel like when I get the money, I'll move it. And if I don't, if I need a call, make a wire to get my money to like, let's say Coinbase or something, and I don't do it, I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what you got? Like, I know I probably need like $1,000 in my bank account at the most, and I'm like, everything else need to be invested.
That's why I tell people, there's nothing that can happen where I'll need $1,000.
Yeah,
nothing.
like,
there's literally nothing to where I'll need. So I usually have less than $500 every month to give myself.
And you're
the rest of it goes towards investing.
Because you set up your life so
you got me on that, right? Like seeing what it's done for you, seeing how consistent you've been has rubbed off on me, and I'm sure. You seeing how much weight I lost, me staying consistent in the gym, because you were more into the gym than I was.
Right? Hey, hold on. Let me tell y'all this story. Let me tell y'all about this dude, right? When I got to fucking Germany, I was so fucking fit, right?
He was probably in the best shape of his life.
I was in the best shape of my life when I got to Germany, because in Colorado, I was like heavy in the CrossFit, heavy in the powerlifting, right? So when I got to Germany, I was lean, I was strong as fuck. And like I was just in great shape. I was preparing, instead of coming to Germany, I was preparing to go play college football.
Right.
So I was like working out like crazy. And then when I got to Germany, I started hanging out with you, and he wasn't a gym dude. He's like, hey, let's go to the lake. I'm like, fuck it, let's go to the lake. Like I wasn't going to
traveling around.
All right, you're like,
get a hoop every now and then. So at least we're still getting.
But I'm like, and that's when I fell off the gym. Like when I started hanging out with you. And then it's funny because it comes full circle, because you're the one who dragged me back into the gym. Like
that's crazy.
Years later, you know what I mean? Like,
and that's what I talk about having. You know, you need people like that.
Like a positive network.
You need people like that in your life who are doing something different than you, but it's positive that they can bring you into that, right? Yeah. So you might not be as in deep as one thing or the other, right? So it's like I might go to the gym more than you, and you probably might invest more money more of your money than I do, right? But we're pulling each other towards these positive things, to where it's like, okay, we're not doing as much, right? You might not go to the gym as much, I might not invest as much, but we're pulling.
It's better than what it used to be.
Exactly.
We're doing better than what we used to.
And that's what I talk about when I say it's important, the type of people you hang around. Because if you hang around someone who's just sitting around all day, getting high all day, drinking all day, not really doing anything, you're gonna tend to want to do those things because no one is doing something.
You don't want to be the odd man out.
So it's like you need someone that's doing something, and you don't have to necessarily mirror to a T exactly what they're doing, but something you'll pick it up, right? I remember, and I probably talked about this in our other podcast. I remember when I would come hang out with you, you would get up every morning and you would go to the gym. And I would never go. Sometimes I'd be like, I'm going to go with you, but I would never go. And it's like, no matter what we did, going to the gym was important for you. And so you got up and you went to the gym every morning, right? I would hear you open the door and go, or sometimes you would ask, like, hey, you want to go? I'd be like, no, I'll just wait till you get back, right? That's part of it, right? That's part of that being consistent, staying with it.
Everything in my life that I've ever anything that I'm ever proud of in my life is a result of consistency. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously you don't wake up and you're just like, okay, now I'm wealthy today. You know what I mean? Like, even if you did, like, let's say you hit the lottery, like, not you, but if somebody hit the lottery, like, because they don't know the work that it takes to build a mass amount of wealth, they're not going to know how to maintain it. They're not going to appreciate it. That's why people get money real quick, and then
that's why they have all those stories of those people winning the lottery and going literally broke.
Yeah, like, so if you take your next door neighbor, you give him $10 million, or you take a dude who, let's say, built a plumbing company, and now he's worth $10 million, one dude's not going to know the value of $10 million, although they both got $10 million or $500,000, doesn't matter what the number is, right? So one dude's going to be like, right when he gets the money, he's going to tell you everything that he's going to go buy. And the next dude's like, okay, I can put some away here. I can buy some new products here. Like, maybe I'll buy a new van for work.
Invest in these dividend
payments. I can get some
continue to pay me.
You have a complete understanding of what it takes to maintain this. All right, so here's a story. This dude, he hit the lottery in Florida. He hit the lottery for $250 million, and then they went back to see after 5 years who still had their money. So 70% of all the lottery winners were completely broke after 5 years, right? But this dude went from 70%, bro. I think the study was on everyone who hit for over $1 million. 70% of them were flat broke after 5 years. Like I said, they didn't put in the work to get the money. All right, but one dude hit for $250 million, but he was kind of already somewhat moving along in life. You know what I mean? And he invested his $250, and it's $1 billion now. Right? So that shit is crazy, you know what I mean? But if you don't put in that time, you know what I mean, you don't value it, you know? It's like if somebody gives you a car versus you take the bus every day for 10 months to save up while you're working at Burger King to buy a car, right? Even if that car that you saved up to buy is like a piece of crap compared to what your grandpa gave you, you're gonna cherish it way more.
Take care of it. You're not gonna run it to the ground. All that stuff.
People leave trash in your car. You be like, hey, get that shit up, bro. I know this is a piece of shit, but it's my piece of shit.
Exactly. Trust me, been there, done that many times with all my cars. So I already know.
Man, so
all right, so the next topic that I want to hit is people not taking advantages, right? We've been seeing that a lot lately.
People not taking advantage of opportunities.
Yes, people not taking it. There's so many opportunities that works in so many ways, so just dive in. Any topic you want to dive in on that.
All right. So I'll start with this rental car thing that me and Juice are doing, right? So he listed one of the cars within 30 minutes. It got rented, right? And what's so crazy is our profile and everything is under his name. He takes care of everything. So it has nothing to do with my internet popularity or anything, right? And I was just thinking about this. I'm like, everyone could fucking do this. You know what I mean? Especially people who live in big cities. Like if you live in a major city, anyone could do this, right? And it's crazy that some people will sit back and they'll see like how other people are making money. Some people making money from DoorDash. Some people are making money flipping pallets. And you're just sitting back consuming all the information, but you haven't took a shot at anything, right? And I'm like, damn, like, bro, listen to this car. And then it just like started booming. So I'm telling everybody about it. And people are like, oh, I was thinking about doing it, but I never did it, blah, blah. And I'm like, there's these people who sit around and want to analyze everything. And the opportunities come and go, right? Like, okay, for another example, you know, like I've always been telling people the easiest way or the fastest way to grow your Instagram account is to get shout outs on big pages, right? That's starting to die out. you know what I mean? Like that method is starting to die out. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't work the same way it used to. But there was a window of like 3 years where like everybody should have 20,000 followers and they sell their product to their audience. You know what I mean? But people weren't taking advantage of it. And then the window.
People always want to know, well, what about this or what about that?
Yeah.
What if it doesn't get rented or what if it doesn't work or what if they don't?
Yeah, you're like, bro, when that window closes, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm waiting for the next day. Same thing when you have buying opportunities in the stock market. You know what I mean? Like stocks going to sell. We just seen a big sell off from February to like June
up until recently.
And you're like, hey bro, imagine being able to buy Apple at a discount, Microsoft at a discount, Google at a discount, like all these companies at a discount and you choose not to. The ARK funds at a discount. Like we were telling everybody like, all right y'all, if you're not buying ARK at $99, like what type of coke is that, bro? Like what type of drugs are you on? You know what I mean? And then people will wait until we post and be like, all right, we said buy it at $99, now it's at $125, and people are like, is it too late?
Is it too late? Yeah.
Like bro, you don't jump on any, like eventually you're gonna have to stop cleaning the gun and go point it and pull the trigger somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you think the fear that people have from missing out on these opportunities? Because we see it all the time, right? We see it with different business ventures. We see it with real estate, right? One of the things I told you about this house that we're in right now, I told you this is prime time to get when people were ready to just give their properties away because people thought the housing market was going to crash. People thought that COVID was never going away, that people weren't going to ever go back to work, and people were panic selling. We were able to get equity in our properties the day that we signed.
They've been paying me to live here, basically.
Pretty much.
All right, so what I think stops people is one, I think people are afraid to be wrong. Right? I think they're afraid to be wrong because I don't know why, but they think maybe some imaginary like hater that they have is gonna come throw it in their face that they're wrong.
And you know what? I think that's a key reason why a lot of people don't want to post their stuff on social media, right? And that's someone talked about it. They posted this on one of your pages as you're one of the most transparent people. One, because you just don't give a fuck what someone else is gonna say, right? You believe in what you're doing enough to where you know it's gonna work, and if it doesn't work, so what? I'm gonna go on to the next thing.
Who cares?
Who cares if I'm wrong?
That's
you know what I mean?
And
so many people are these closet investors, right? All of a sudden, when stuff shoots up and runs up,
I hope you guys bought this in 19. Like, no, you bought it and then you didn't tell anybody about it because if it went down, you would have kept it to yourself, so your public record would have still been perfect.
Exactly.
Hell no, I'll let y'all know what's up. I'll let y'all know what's up because I don't care, bro. Like, I'm a good enough trader, I'm a good enough investor that if I do all my due diligence and I find a good entry point and I buy and it should not work, oh well. It's kind of like imagine you're playing football and you're the quarterback, right? And your receiver beats the corner, he's running like a go route, and you see him wide open down the field, right? And you're like, I don't want to throw him the ball because he might drop it and then it'll affect my completion rate. My passing rate will go down.
That's pretty much what it is.
Okay, or he could catch it and it could be a touchdown, you know what I mean? But that's what happens. It's like, imagine, so you start off the game, you're the quarterback, you start off, you're like 15 for 15, and this dude, but your team is losing. And this dude smokes the corner downfield, but you don't want to throw that ball because it might mess up your record. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like a lot of people, they don't want to seem like perfect or they're afraid to fail or whatever the case is. And the thing is, if you throw him the ball and he drops it, that happens, bro. Like, but you have to know that you made the right decision. Right? So if I see Bitcoin at $29,000 at this day and age, you know, you see Bitcoin at 29K and it just fell from 60, RSI is low. You know what I mean? We know, like, I use the stock to flow model, so I know that it's likely to bounce up from here. If I should not take that, it would be the same thing as not throwing the ball. If I should not buy Bitcoin under 30K, it would be the same thing as not throwing the ball.
That's exactly why we've been buying it up.
And that's why we catch ETH under 2K. It's like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, are we not going to take this shot? You know what I mean? Like we said this in other podcasts, but we're very serious about this. If everything should fall fall apart, we still got each other. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. So I don't have no fear of trying to. If I'm wrong, I'm like, who cares? Like, all right, what's next?
Especially when you don't come from much already.
I know, bro. Like,
that stuff is in the back of our mind. So it's like, if we have to go back to living with 10 people in a one bedroom, we've never done that.
But I'll be damned if I'm not trying, though. You know what I mean? Like, yo, all right, I got this. I did enough research. I did enough. You know what I mean? And it just so happens, it's like once you start believing in the work that you put in, like, you know, prior to the game, prior to the investment, prior to this, then it's like how people say in sports that the game is supposed to be easier than practice. Mm-hmm. You practice so hard that when you get out and play the game, you're just oh, here you go, boom, here's a pass. You know what I mean? You're out because you've been working so hard. I feel the same way. I put so much work into doing my due diligence or studying charts that I can buy or take a position with absolute confidence.
Well, yeah.
And if it doesn't work, and sometimes it don't work, I don't give a what's the next one, bro?
Yeah,
like, what's the next one?
That's what people don't realize. There's always gonna be something next, right? There's always gonna be something next. And you know, you're like me when it comes to this. We work best when our back is to the wall, when we have skin in the game, when our money is in an investment towards something. If like that house I just bought from auction that I sold, right? I had
we haven't talked about that.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that. All right, so I just bought a house recently from auction. I always talk about I'm a turnkey investor, so I like properties that are ready to go. They have somebody living in them already. They don't need much work. I'm not a fix and flipper. I don't do bird deals. I don't do wholesale or any of that, right? It's not the route that I wanted to go. I found
you want to buy something that's ready
to go, right? That's what I started out doing. It worked for me, so that's what I wanted to continue doing. So with the market being so crazy, when it started getting high, I was putting in offers for properties that way over what they were worth. So it's like, that's not what I like to do. I like to have equity in properties. I don't want to be down in the hole, you know what I mean? And then trying to hope that the market keeps rising. So I'm like, well, shit, let me go a different route and let me look at homes that are being sold in auction so I can buy a cheap house and try to do something with it. Never bought a house in auction. Bought a property in a state that I don't live in. Didn't go look at it, right? All the blogs and all the YouTube videos that you find on buying properties from auction, they say go look at the property. They say do not buy a property without looking at it. Bought this property, wasn't able to look at it. Had a property management group that I don't work with, never worked with. They went through, they sent me a video, and the property was tore, it was damaged. Roof needed issues. It had about probably anywhere from 30 to 50,000 that it needed in rehab to just get it back to be able to even rent it out. And so I had no.
Hold on. Because you were doing your research before. You were learning how auctions work, what prices you were willing to pay for, blah, blah. I don't want it to seem like you just went in this blind.
So I didn't go in blind, right? So I did do some research that I could do, right? So the research that I could do was I could see what the comps were in the area. So comps mean other properties that are similar to this property, what they were being sold for, what they were being rented for if I wanted to rent them out. And then I was seeing where the rents were going in that area. So that's the research that I could do to where I knew, okay, worst case scenario, if I do put all this money into rehab it, this is what I'll get in rent.
Yeah, this is my exit.
Or if I wanted to sell it, this is what the value is if it gets fixed up. So I know I can probably find someone that's willing to buy it more than what I paid for it, right? So I had a set price that I didn't want to go over on the auction. So anything under that, I felt like I could be in the money some way, one way or another. And then I knew there was multiple routes that I could go, right? I could tear it down, sell it as just a vacant lot. I could do all these different things. So my back was to the wall. So I won this auction. I had this property. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and then I listed it, and I was getting some offers, but they were way under what I paid. So I'm like, nah, that's not going to work.
That's the best part of the story. The best part of the story is that people came lowballing him, blah, blah. He's like, get out of here.
So my mentality for this property was, if I have to keep this property for 10 years to wait till the value goes up and then try to sell for whatever that market value is, that's what I'll do, because I knew that all I had to pay were property taxes. Property taxes were nothing for me to keep this. So it'll cost me probably like $6,000 over 10 years. Taxes were about $600 a year, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna have to worry about anything but paying for taxes. So worst case scenario, I'll just sit and wait. My money's not going anywhere. Just like we talked about in the stock market, you don't lose until you sell, right?
So you got a good entry. Right. So you got a good entry. One, you got it at a discount because it was on the auction. Right. And then two, you already realized what your long-term cost would be. If worst case scenario, you had to hold it for 10 years, $600 a year for property taxes times 10 years.
10 years, right? So
you got a good entry, right? Boom,
so so it's like, I had a good little game plan, and then I was just gonna see how it went. Like I said, this is something that I've never done. I never did auctions. I never did any of this stuff, and I just kept it listed. So 1 month went by. I got a couple good offers, but not anything that was going to put me in the green, give me more money than what I paid for. Mm-hmm. And then so I thought, okay, the landscaping looked horrible. So I'm like, let me get someone out there to cut the yard, maybe to give it good face, sex appeal, right? Yeah. So I had someone go out, they cut the yard, and what do you know? I started getting better offers in it. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm definitely onto something. So now I got offer for more than what I paid, but it still wasn't as much as I wanted. I want to see if I can get more. So I'm like, okay, now I know I'm onto something. Let me go a little bit longer and see what happens. And sure enough, I had this property for 2 months, and I ended up getting about $9,000 more than what I paid for it.
All right, so you made $9,000 off this. You didn't go look at it.
Didn't, right? Never flew out there to look at it.
Never flew out there to work.
Nope.
You spent some time with your realtor on the phone, right? You spent some time, talking to her about what you want, what you didn't want.
Yep.
You passed over on a few offers, right? And you made $9,000.
$9,000.
And what's so crazy is everybody watching this. When you watch this, I want to let you know there's nothing in the world stopping you from doing it, but you're just gonna watch it and keep.
Right. That's the thing. It's like you're either gonna.
What auction website did you use?
Auction.com.
Auction.com.
Yeah, auction.com. So it's like you're either gonna pull a trigger or you're not, right? So
straight up.
I told you about this idea, and it's funny because I wanted to do this with you. What me and Ashley ended up doing. I talked to you about it a long time ago. Remember, I was like, "Hey, I got this good idea. Let's do it." But you have all these other things going on, right? You liked it, but it's just your focus was building up the Well Squad, getting it set together, right? So it's like, okay, damn. Me and you can't do it. It would have been dope if we could have did it. But I'm like, I'm on to something. I feel like
it's still a dope ass idea.
Right, this is still a dope ass idea. I still gotta make this stuff happen. So me and Ashley started partnering up. We, bundled our courses together. Everything started going good. So I reached out to Ashley. I said, hey, I have this great idea. I think it would be dope if me and you started doing a tour with this. And she's like, she's like, you think this would go well? Like, you think it would be good?
Yeah.
I'm like, I think we would kill this. I think it would go great. It's something different than what other people are doing. We put our own touch to it. And we had our first tour recently and killed it. It went really well. Everyone loved it. It's something different. It's something, unique to what we do, but it's like you're either gonna pull a trigger to something or you're not, right?
Hey, and let me tell you, man, how dope it is to see your sister and your best friend working together to make some money to help all these people out. That shit made me feel hella proud, bro.
And it brought me and Ashley closer together. You know what I mean? So it's like that's like your family is like my family, right? Your brothers, I'm close to your brothers. Close to Ashley now. That brought us closer together, and we're excited. We've been texting I can't wait to get the next one. And that's one thing I tell people. That's another that falls back to what we were talking about earlier. Staying consistent. If you find something that works for you, don't shy away from it. So many people will go do something and it will work for them, and then they'll just won't do it again.
This one time I did this one thing and it worked.
Keep your foot on the gas, keep going. There's gonna be bumps along the way, right? Things might not work how it worked the first time, but you just adjust and you keep going.
Okay.
And that kind of rolls me into the next thing about having a solid team around you.
All right, so what I have to say is, the first thing I'll say about building a team around you is no company is better than bad company, right? So if you don't have the people around you right now who are out there trying to get it, trying to make moves, trying to improve, financially, spiritually, their health, any of that stuff, and you know that that's what you want, you just got to drop them from your team. And when I say drop them, it's not, hey, screw you, don't text me no more. It's just, hey, I'll catch up with y'all after I do what I need to do, right? But, for you to have no company, for you just to go out there and do it solo dolo is better than me telling my friends, hey, I'm gonna try this. Hey, bro, that ain't gonna work. I wanna try this, I wanna try that. Bro, everybody does that. Why you wanna do that? You know what I mean? Like, you don't want these type of voices in your head, you know what I mean? So for y'all out there who are struggling to build a team, struggling to put the right pieces around you, just know that go be a lone ranger, because on your journey, you're gonna meet like-minded people, right? And then you're gonna be like, all right, well, cool, my friends from back in the day can be my friends from back in the day and we'll do these things together, but when it's time to make some progress or do something, I got a whole new clique over here, you know what I mean? So luckily for me, I met you, so that was like a big, and then we could kind of piece things together where my brother came on board and my sister's on board, and I kind of, like built up the team or whatever, but it started from like finding you know what I mean? Like, because we're very like-minded, you know? So when I used to be into finance, like, let's say before I met you, and people at work, they don't want to hear that, bro. Like, they don't want to, like, they want a nice BMW and that's it.
It's crazy because I would talk about the stock market, and it's funny because one of my friends that was out here recently, you didn't get to meet him, and he was laughing because he remembers when he first met me, he remembers that was something I was talking about, but he said that it was going in one ear and one out the other. This was back in 2009 when we had met. And it's like, so I would talk about the stock market and real estate, but people, I wouldn't get no type of energy back from people. It just kind of,
they're not even interested.
Whatever, right? They just want to talk about basketball, girls, or whatever, right? And then so when we met, we were in the office and we would be talking about stocks. And he's like, yeah, bro, I'm in that. And then so we started talking more, and then we started talking about real estate.
For y'all to know, this is 2014.
This is 2014, right? And then so we started talking about, now we started trading like different stock ideas that we have. And then we were talking about getting into real estate because neither one of us was in real estate at this time. And then you were like, damn, bro, I'm thinking about starting a company. You're like, I'm thinking about starting a watch business, right? And I went home and I actually thought on that shit. I'm like what? Like, he wants to start, and I told you, I'm like, damn, that's dope. But I'm thinking like, wow, like, all right. And then so the next day, I'm like, well, bro, what are you doing? Like, how are you doing? You're like, well, look, check out this design. I still have the pictures from your very first design.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
I don't even have them.
When you got it, it was of the very first watch that you were gonna have. It was someone's hand. It was someone's hand holding it. It was just the watch part. So I have the actual drawings and then the actual first watch that you ever had made.
Yeah.
I still have the picture of it. Somebody was holding just the watch part of it.
Oh, you gotta send that to me,
so I still have that, right? And I'm like, this is the dopest thing ever, right? Someone who looks like me is talking about something that I've never heard anybody say, right? So I'm like,
and what's crazy is, look how in his mind this is something dope and I'm onto something, but to everyone else
is like, nah,
weird
bro,
as fuck.
Right? You're like, so they made jokes, right? They made jokes about you going to do this, and I'm like, this is crazy. And then it's like, I'll be asking you, where you at? What are you doing? And you're like, I reached out to manufacturers over here and they sent me this, and we would be looking at the messages and looking at the designs. You're like, I'm going to create the design myself. I'm going to create the logo myself. I'm going to create the logo myself, right? I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. And then you started getting designs coming in. I'm like,
I see it.
I'm like, damn, you moving forward with this. And then it's like, damn, I think that's what brought us closer, is because we were into the girls, we were into the sports, we were into all the stuff that we talked about our whole life.
And just as much as the next, more than the next person.
Right? Okay, but it's like, these are things that
we're versatile.
Right, we talked about this stuff our whole life with our friends. Sports, who likes this, who's better than this, we would go play and this and that, right? It's like, damn, I've had these conversations with my friends my whole life.
Times,
you know what I mean? So it's like, now we're tapping into something different. Real estate, stock market, building a brand.
And what's crazy about all that is there was times where, so I started doing the research to the watch company in 2014, but I didn't launch until 2015. It took you remember it took a long time for me to actually launch because I had to learn everything from ground zero.
There was no courses to help you out.
There was none of that.
I don't even think was Shopify even a thing yet at that time?
I don't know, but it wasn't the first thing I used, so I didn't know that Shopify until one of Airstream's.
So Shopify wasn't even a thing, and it's crazy, bro. That you talk about building your network, and I still to this day don't know how you do it, and I think it's just because it's who you are, and it's the things that you're into. You always have these people around you. You have that girl that was putting you on game that was like the purses or something like that.
Oh, she was.
So you were telling me about this, and I'm thinking like, people actually do this, like what? And then how the hell did you meet someone that's doing this? And then it's like you kept meeting all these people. And then I figured that out in the real estate world, when you actually are out doing these things.
You're gonna meet.
Now you start meeting people.
The people that are gonna, the partners that you guys are gonna make that are gonna take you to the next level, or y'all gonna go to the next level together, y'all don't even know them right now.
You don't even know them, right? So it's like, people are like, well, how do you know these people? I'm like, well, I got put on from this person because I closed this property with this person, and they introduced me to this person.
And people like doers too. So like when you're out doing shit,
versus
people are
just
like,
talking about it. And when people see that you do stuff, they want to work with you more. They want to recommend you to other people. And then so it's like, I think that's why you have the team that you have around you, is one, because you're a trigger puller. You have a vision. You see things that a lot of people don't see, and you go after it. You don't let. I personally feel like you don't think that there's anything that you can't do, and I believe that there's nothing that you can't do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
I for sure be like, it's like an unwavering like self-confidence.
Right. It's like we're gonna figure shit out one way or another, right? We've got to where we're at now from, we've gotten out of some crazy situations as kids.
Yeah.
So it's like we kind of
why not? It's crazy. It's like you go through this like tunnel in life and you're like crawling, you're a kid and you're helpless, but you gotta crawl through this tunnel. And once you get through the tunnel, it's like the world's like a big ass playground. You're like, what? I'm about to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to do everything.
And that's the thing. So many people have visions, and so many people are good at what they do, but they don't have that trigger pulling mentality. They'll just come up with an idea, and then it will fall back on the back burner.
Yeah.
They'll come up with another good idea, it will fall back on the back burner. And come up with an idea, and it's just like a never-ending cycle.
I'm gonna tell y'all about the business world too. Look, think about this. If you wanted to be in the NBA, you have to be the top of 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 basketball players, right? If you want to be a millionaire, you could be a mediocre ass business person. Right. You know what I mean? Like, bro,
you don't have to be the top of anything.
Or you don't even have to be a millionaire. If you want 6 figures in your account, you don't have to be. You could be in the bottom 5% as long as your operation works and you know how to market that shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. You don't gotta be 6'10". Like, it almost seems like it's a cheat code. And then when you start pulling back, you realize the entire country is built off of business. Yeah. You would be crazy not to own a business, operate a business, invest in a business, buy a business, sell a business. Right. You would be crazy. The whole country is based on capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's all about businesses. Like how people say, go to school and get a good job. Where do you think you're getting a job from? A business. A business. Right. So therefore,
when you go to the school, what do you think you got to do to go to that school? You're paying for it. What do you think that is? It's a business.
It's a business.
Universities are for business.
So when
everything is for business.
Everything's for profit, bro. Everything's for sale. So when I start seeing like, all right, like, because think about this. I can ask you who the top athletes are in the world. You could tell me. I can ask you who the top actors or actresses in the world. You could tell me, right? Think about how many businessmen and women are well off right now. You have no idea who the fuck they are.
Obviously, we know the big names, but
you know the popular names.
There's so many other people that have.
There's 45 million millionaires in the world. 45 million millionaires, right?
That's insane.
You probably, if I ask you to name them, you probably can get to about, because you're gonna name athletes, you can probably get to 100. Right? But you still got 440, like 400 or 44 million more like to go. Like, bro, you have so many. There's people who make money selling lamps. There's people who make money selling doorknobs. There's
everything in your house.
Yes,
the sliding doors, the locks on the doors, the tile on your ground. If you have carpet,
bro, everything, and you realize that
this is the knobs, the refrigerator,
everything, these
blenders, the
plants,
spoons,
everything, the couches, and you're like this entire country, this entire system is about business. So I want to get in the business world. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so crazy. Like once I start seeing I start seeing things like that, and then early on, I was listening to Ryan Leslie talk about building up a network and having people who would pay you for these things. Mm-hmm. And I started listening to Ryan Leslie talk about this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I got it, bro. I got it. The Nip was talking about the $99 seat. I'm like, what will people pay me $99 for? You know what I mean? I'm like, a watch, like. Because I'm gonna have a dope ass watch, you know what I mean? Like,
you know what? It's when we were talking about like the price point, and when you said like you want to have your watches between $100 and $150. I never thought like no one's gonna pay that. I'm like, damn, that's dope. Like, and then you were like, telling the whole process, like this is how much it costs to get it made. You had shipping into it. You had literally the whole plan of how it was gonna go. And not one time were you ever like, these are probably going to be too high, let me lower my price. You're like, nope, this is the price I want, and that's the price you're stuck with.
Looking back, I went on the low side, and like if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have went automatic watches, and I would have started at a higher price point. I would have probably came out the gate with a $3,000 minimum watch. You know what I mean? And then work my way down from there. But I never thought about I'm like, bro, people are buying Fossil watches and Michael Kors watches. Why don't they come out with 17th? You know what I mean? Like, it's just saying, I'll make the same quality, a doper design. I'll let people be able to change out their straps and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, of course people are gonna rock with me, but I just have like a positive like demeanor in life where I'm like, I'm gonna meet up with some cool people and they're gonna like my shit. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody who's in my ear telling me it's a bad idea, y'all just don't know.
So many people. That's the crazy thing.
Y'all viewing the world was so small. Yeah.
There was people, they didn't want us talking about it in the office. That's how crazy it was. Like, it really made people feel uncomfortable, which is really odd and strange when you really think about it.
Yeah, but I'll tell y'all this, that there was a lot of times I felt like giving up early on, like before I even launched, because it was a lot of work to be like, there's a lot of work and absolutely no return at all, right? And the times I felt like giving up, he would come hit me and he'd be like, all right, bro, what's up with this? I'm like, man, I ain't did, nah, you gotta get that going. Bro, you already said that. Like, nah, bro, you should have been did that. What's taking you so long? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of times where I'm like, then what happened is after you like kind of like put some pressure on me a few times, I noticed that I would be like, I'm not gonna not do nothing because then I'm gonna have to hear this nigga's mouth. You know what I mean? All right, so one thing I'm gonna say about building your team is, one, you need to be a person of action. Everyone sits around and comes up with ideas. Like, you gotta go execute. People like doers. And then two, you gotta put yourself in the best position to make friends or connect with people who are already doing that, right? So if I want to make friends that play basketball, where do you think I'm gonna make them? The basketball court. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna make them like in the club, like, hey, you play basketball? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna go where people are at. So go to your events, all that stuff, right? The people who are closest to you that you can trust, try to bring them along with you. Sometimes they'll see the vision, sometimes they won't. And if they don't, like I was saying, just, you know what I mean? Like, just put them to the side, you know, you'll know when to talk to them, hang out with them. But yeah, man, but you gotta be a person worth knowing, right? So the people who are worth knowing, they're trustworthy, they're honest, they communicate, they pass information, they tell other people about their strengths, and you know what I mean? Like, I hit you all the time, like, oh, bro, like, this will work for you, you know what I mean? Like, but it's like being a doer and being somebody worth knowing, you know what I mean? Like, because people can trust you and people want to do deals with you and shit like that.
Right. Yeah, so one of the last topics that I want to hit, and a lot of people talk about this a lot, and this is something that people don't know how to deal with because a lot of it comes from their family members and a lot of it comes from their friends, and that's negativity. Cutting negativity from their life, right? So how do you deal with negativity, whether it be coming from your family, whether it be coming from your friends, whether it be from strangers? How do you deal with cutting negativity out of your life?
All right, so one thing you got to know about negative people and negativity that comes your way is that it's that person's problem. It's that person's issue, right? It doesn't have nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? Like, so that's like something I learned to implement after like I read like the 4 agreements. Like think about it, if you're walking down the street and somebody calls you like an ugly ass motherfucker, like it don't got nothing to do with you. Like that dude's in a bad mood. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you realize that like people have like capacities on like, you know, their own, they have their own personal limits. You know what I mean? If they haven't grown, if they haven't developed, if they haven't, you know, like did the work that they need to do, they're usually gonna be a negative ass person, and they need to spread that to somebody else. You know what I mean? Whether it's to you, whether it's to your ideas or whatever. So a lot of times when people bring negativity my way, I just assume that they're like underdeveloped. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you ain't did the work, bro. Like, I gotta tell you, ain't did. Like, you know, people sit online all day and tell me I'm wrong about everything.
Right.
Like, you ain't did the work, bro. You know what I mean? Like, so that's one thing. 2, I think I'll tell people about like, hey, how come you always got, like if they're like my family or something, like, oh, you always got something negative to say. You know, if they should continue it, like I make it known that I realize you always got something negative to say, then I'm just not gonna be around you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, or I might like catch you at a family party or something, but I'm not about to hang out with you. You know what I mean? Like, you really, your life is like The Sims, bro, where you really like construct your own life. You know what I mean? Like, think about The Sims, like that video game. You build your own house. You know what I mean? Like, you build the character. You build the character. That's how life is, bro. Like, all right, you negative. I ain't hanging out with you. You know what I mean? You always got something stupid to say. You know what I mean? Like, you get to go. But one of the best things you could do is be a person that is positive and encouraging, because like-minded people want to come connect with you, right? But you have to have standards for your life. You know, when negative people come your way, you gotta let them, hey, bro, there's the door. You know what I mean? But you have to understand, you truly have to understand that a lot of negative people have not done the inner work. So whenever they say something crazy to you, or whenever they're talking crazy to you, 1, they probably don't even have enough information about you to make a solid opinion. And 2, they're just projecting their own insecurities. You know what I'm saying? That's usually what it is. Right. But okay, so that's like one form of negativity. Another form of negativity is the stuff that you watch on TV, the stuff that you see on social media, right? Like, so if you think about it, like think about like people who are like social justice warriors, right? They have to talk about all the injustices in the world, right? That's their whole platform, right? So if you follow somebody like this, every single day they're gonna go find the injustice in the world and they're gonna talk about it, and you are gonna see it every day. So now your mind starts to look like the world's so unjust and so fucked up because this person keeps bringing it to light. You know what I'm saying? Like, so being aware of who you follow and what they're talking about, you know what I mean? Because you start living like with this tunnel vision where you only see what you're choosing to see. This person's only seeing the injustice in the world. You know what I mean? Because that's what he needs to talk about. That's exactly what the news is.
Yeah,
that's exactly what the news is. You know what I mean? It's a business. Like
the news, that's what people don't realize.
Yeah,
like the news is like we were talking. Everything is a business. Schools,
yeah,
all the jobs. The news is
like they have an incentive to scare the hell out of you, so you'll keep. Oh, I need to watch it because I need to be up to date. Is the world about to end? Yeah. Meanwhile, they're selling their ads and stuff, you know?
Right.
But the thing is, you get to handpick who you follow. You get to handpick what you read. You get to handpick what type of media you're bringing in, right?
Yep.
So I like to say this, we're all subjected to influence, right? We'll all be influenced in one way or another by people that are around us, by things that we listen to, by the music, the movies, the media, all that good stuff, right? So you have to hand select what you're gonna let influence you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so if you're gonna listen to like dumb stuff all day and follow people who just create drama, then that's what's gonna be in your head.
Yeah.
You're gonna start thinking the world must be like this because this is all I see. You've created your own screwed up reality.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's So you know me really well. I cut it all out from my life. Anyone knows, I don't care. Mom, dad, brother, sister, you know, close friends, whatever it may be. If someone's being negative, or if I feel like they're being negative, you know, if it's someone that's close to me, I'll call them out on it.
Yep.
If they continue to be negative for whatever it is, I just cut them out of my life. I don't have any fear of cutting someone out of my life because I like to be around people who are positive. I like to be around things that are positive. The people that I follow on social media are always posting positive things. I don't watch the news. I don't keep up with any of that stuff. I don't watch these TV shows where there's like drama, people fighting, you know what I mean? Some of those, with the real whatever of all this, always just negativity, people fighting, relationship drama, all this stuff, and people get fed all this stuff so they believe this is how relationships need to be.
Yeah.
People,
I see that a lot. Like,
so people,
dudes do this and women
right,
do that.
People turn to social media for how they should live their life and how they should treat their relationships.
How they should
with
think,
people,
how they should act.
think, right? No, that's in the real world. Things don't go like that, right?
Yeah.
You, like you said, you create your own environment.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people you can be in a relationship with someone that you don't even have to argue. Right, and people are like, no, that's how relationships
Y'all get along,
right? I've been in my relationship for over a year, and we've not argued once.
Yeah.
Right, because you can talk to a person and you can figure things out. Me and you have never even argued, right? We've had differences on things, and we probably like taking little breaks from each other.
Yeah, I feel like if you piss me off, I just start answering your phone calls for like a week or saying,
exactly. But we've never had to argue about anything. We probably had different views or thoughts on something, but we just talk about it. I hear you, you hear me, and then we go on. But it's
I think most were just like, you tripping.
Right, exactly. Right. So many people take things so personal, and you know, they allow those negative people to stay in their life because they come up with excuses for one, why they're being negative, or why they're allowing them to be in their life. Well, it's my mom, well, it's my dad, it's my brother, it's my sister, it's my cousin, it's family, it's blood. This is someone I've known for 10 plus years. I don't care about any of that, right? If I feel like because you know that starts to affect your mentals as well, right? If you're around someone who's just constantly negative, you know, always having issues with something, it's like, well, when are you going to start to look at you, right? How did you get into this? Why are you feeling this way? Why are you doing that? Why do you know, people are like, oh, I hate my job. People complain every day about their job. So it's like, why don't you go find another job?
Quit, bro.
Quit. Like, there's literally so many.
And you know what's so crazy? People will be like, well, it's not that easy.
It's
like,
not that easy. Yes,
like, all right, well, do you want to be miserable every day or you want to go find another job?
Right. Like, I would rather provide a service. I'd rather go cut people's grass, walk people's dogs, clean people's cars. I'd rather go.
Or just go take another job that's less miserable.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I
So
mean?
many people are like,
you create that reality.
I gotta stay with this job. It's a good job. It's a good company.
My benefits.
Yeah, my benefits.
You're about to go crazy in your mind over some health insurance.
Every single day you come home complaining about so-and-so, how your boss is unprofessional, how this happens, you don't feel safe, you don't feel this, but no one does anything about it. It's like we have complete control. I tell people, you know, being in the military, one, saved me and it opened my eyes up to a lot of things. And I say open my eyes up to a lot of things because in the military you have to travel around, and traveling around showed me the importance of being somewhere that you want to be, right? A lot of people have never left home and they're miserable because a lot of people don't realize that state might not be for you, whether it be the demographics, whether it might be the weather, whether it be the things that are offered there. You need to be somewhere that fits your lifestyle. And luckily for me, the military moved me around to all these different places so I can see the importance. I seen when I was stationed somewhere that I didn't want to be and I was miserable there. My mental health was being affected. I didn't really care about anything. I was drinking a lot, not even noticing these things versus when I'm somewhere that I actually want to be, I'm a lot happier. You know, I'm more motivated to go do things. I'm out doing this. I want to interact with people and do different things. So a lot of people don't realize that you could be living somewhere that's really affecting your mental health and bringing a lot of negativity to you. Go ahead.
I once read in a book, I'll never forget this quote, but it said, all of the heavens, all of the hells, all of the angels, all of the demons are all in your mind. And like I read that, I'm like, bro, I was like, it's crazy because you create your own reality, man. Like you create your own reality. You know what I mean? Like you hate your job, but you stay there. You hate you're always fighting with your spouse and you stay, or you don't want to make any changes so you guys could have a better relationship. And you're like, it all starts here. You know what I mean?
It's crazy because so many people will, you know, and I actually posted this on my social media. If you talk bad about me, about your friends, and I'm not going to hang out with you anymore because why do you continue to hang out with this person you're constantly talking bad about?
I hate this person, but I'm about to go over there.
Right? So I never understood that, and so I separate myself from those type of people. It's like, why would you continue to hang around someone that you don't even like or that you're talking bad about? That doesn't even that doesn't make sense to me. And why would you want to put yourself in that situation when you can control who you hang around? You're not forced to hang around. I'm not forced to come hang out with you. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy hanging out with you because we do stuff like this, and we have cool stories. We do a lot of fun things, and we like a lot of the same things. And you know, the same thing applies with with people's relationships. They're like, well, that's how relationships are. That's what people like to make as an excuse for their shit.
Like you have 3 toxic relationships in a row, so you think that's how it is. Like, hey, but there's somebody out there for you who's gonna treat you well.
That enjoys the same things. So many people are.
And then you'll end up being the toxic one because they're gonna be healthy. Like I've been there before. I've been there where I'm like, I met somebody and I feel like I wasn't ready to meet them because I still had all my baggage, you know what I mean? Like, bro, it's crazy. The same way where you said, like, live somewhere that suits you best, date people who suit you the best, date the people who like you, who like
there's
adore
7
you.
billion people on this planet. You know what I mean? If you live in the United States, there's 50 states that you have the option to go live in and try out.
Million
you know what I mean? So, you know, before I lose track, I definitely want to say this. So, living where you want to live is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself, right? And I say this because I live down here, I'm far away from my family, and I'm far away from my closest friends. Every day I think about it. Every day I hate it. I hate being away from some of my closest friends, and I hate being away from my family because that's days that are going by that I'm not able to spend with them. But you know what? When I go back home, my mental health declines. I'm not happy when I go back home. It's not because of the people that are there. It's just the area. I just don't feel comfortable when I'm there. You know what I mean? It's not for me. So it sucks every day that I'm not able to be around the people that I love the most. But you know what? I'm the happiest when I'm where I'm at. That's why I chose to be here, because for me, I'm able to do the things I enjoy to do. The weather is good for me. I'm able to, you know, go do little things that I like to do.
I feel the same way when I'm back home. Like, man, I gotta have my drive. Gotta make sure.
Right.
All this stuff is going on. Like, when I'm in Vegas, I'm just kicking it, bro. I just be cold.
really enjoying life. You know what I mean? So I convinced you to move out here, I'm like, damn, that's so dope. Like one of my best friends is here, so now I have someone that I can hang out with and go do things with. So it's like, you know, you can still travel and do these things, and yes, it's hard, you know what I mean? And like I said, it's something I think about all the time. I hate being away from my closest family, but you know what? For me and what's best for me, and I tell people, you have to put yourself first.
Yep.
You have to put yourself first, always. And so many people will come up with excuses as to why they won't or why they don't. We only get one life.
Yep.
We only get one life. We don't get to choose where our family lives at. We don't get to choose our family. We don't get to choose where our family is from, where we're raised at, the situations that we grow up in. But once you turn 18, now you take complete control of it.
And you have to go build your own family.
You have to go build your own family, right? I consider you and your family part of my family, right? I consider Ashley my sister, you know what I mean? So it's like, you now can choose, and then now you can choose your happiness. Now you're able to do the things.
Happiness has always been a choice.
It's always a choice.
That's like the light that goes off where you're like,
always a choice.
Peace and happiness. It's something you have to go build.
Yeah,
you can't buy it. You know what I mean? Like you can't buy it. You can't like borrow someone else's.
Right.
You have to like, if you gotta move people around, like, you know, pieces on the chessboard, you gotta move people around. If you gotta go move jobs. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a closer job that pays a little less money, but you don't have to commute. Like little things like that. Okay, you don't got to deal with this.
You're in a better environment.
Yeah, it's little things.
People.
All that stuff. All right, so how about negativity online? Like, how do you? Well, I already know.
So for me, so if you guys follow me online, there will be people who are always going to troll you. They're always going to say something negative. I never respond. I've never responded once, and I never will. So people can say whatever they want to say. When you have an open platform, people are going to come at you, right? You could be the most positive person in the world. You could be doing this, doing that. Someone's going to always find something they don't like about you. It'd be your skin color, your views on a certain topic, what you show that you're doing, right? This and that. People are always going to hate.
Oh my God, you're not going to tell people to vote.
Right, people are going to hate you for not being a part of this. Or being, you know what? No one can label anything on me. No one can ever put me in a box, right? No one can ever say, you know what, you need to do this. If not, you're canceled. I don't care who cancels me, because it's not going to stop my money coming in. It's not going to stop my happiness. I'm still going to get up and do the things I want to do and be around the people I want to be around, no matter what. So I don't even pay no mind. I don't care. People can say whatever they want to say, because unless they're actually putting my life in harm's way in real life, social media is social media. That's what it is. What did Tyler Creator say? If you're getting online bullied, just get off. Log offline.
Hey, that happened to me. If y'all follow me for a while, y'all know I went through some bullshit. I'm like,
oh yeah, just log off.
Bro,
and when you logged off, what happened? You need to know all the bullshit.
Hey, one day I was laying on my brother's couch, and he woke me up. He's like, bro, look what's going on. I said, okay. Boom, and then I logged off. I went to LA. I rented a boat. I got a playlist. I rented a boat, got some cherries, and I'll be back in 10 days. That got me messed up.
Yep. So you guys protect your peace at all costs. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy, because we only get one life. We don't get to, pick and choose our family and where we're from and all those good things. But, if you're born in the United States, you have the freedom. You have 50 different states that you can pick and choose from and try things out. And then you can start building people around you. You start getting new friends. You don't have to keep your friends in high school. If you have some solid friends, like I still have, you met most of them. We still keep in contact. They come stay. I go visit them, right? That's things I love to do. You get to pick and choose those things. So if you have negative people around you, cut them out. That's the best thing that you could do.
All right, let's knock out some questions real quick.
All right.
So someone asked, the toughest sacrifice you had to make on your path?
The toughest sacrifice is definitely learning to put yourself first, because like I said, you're gonna upset a lot of people. Some people have this thought in their mind on what they want you to be doing. Right? And so a lot of people feel like they're letting people down. I felt like that way when I didn't go to college for basketball. My family kind of felt a type of way about it, and that kind of made me feel a type of way. But as I got older, I realized, you know what?
That was
them and what they thought I should do, right? You can't think what's best for the next person as well as no one can think and know what's best for you as an individual, because we're all different. We all have different goals, different visions. We're all into different things. So the toughest thing was learning to always put myself first and do what's best for me.
Yep. Mine is along the same lines where I feel like I've made a lot of decisions. Like my birthday's in a week, right? I'm about to be 30. So in my 20s, I made a lot of decisions that I thought were best for me in the long run, right? And even when the world was telling me I was wrong, I kept doing them.
Right.
I kept doing them. But when the world is telling you you're wrong, when your family's telling you you're wrong, and they're telling you that often, you like break off some relationships, and you know what I mean? Like even like people I've dated, like, I'm like, nah, this is the path that I have to go through. You know what I mean? These are the things I have to do for me. And I had to sacrifice a lot of those relationships because I felt like they were dead weight. You know what I'm saying? Like looking back at it, I'm like, I was right. You know what I mean? But
and it's hard in the moment.
But in the moment,
you don't know, right?
And it kind of ties to like investing. Like the best investors are like willing to be wrong the longest. You know what I mean? Like the world kept telling me I was wrong. Yeah. And I'm like, here I am, this crazy dude, like, nah, I'm right. Nah, like I'm working on this. Like, that's not important. That's a lie. Blah 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 blah. Like, you know. And I'm just like, I want to focus on building this dream life that I want, and then it worked. You know what I mean? So I like might have ruffled some feathers on the way up, but I was doing what was best for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's find another one. You got any good questions?
Okay, yeah, I got a good question. Let's see what we got here. This one is. What you do when you lose motivation?
All right, I've said this before. You got to become a robot.
Yeah.
Right? You have to take your emotions out of it.
Yep.
All right. If you have to wake up every day, like I don't need any motivation to take a shower. It's something I have to do.
Right.
I don't negotiate.
Brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Eating food.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't negotiate it with myself. I just go do it. Right. Like you ever been laying in bed, you're like musty, or you're like, damn, why did I even get in bed musty? Like I need to go hop in the shower. Right. You just go hop in the shower. You don't need any motivation. Right. You don't need to wait until a cute girl's about to come over to go hop in the shower, right? You doing the things that I need to do when they need to be done the same exact way, right? If I need to do something, I do it right there on the spot. If I don't feel like doing it, who cares? If I don't want to do it, who cares? I didn't ask myself that, right? I just do what needs to be done. I'm robotic. I turn off my feelings and I just go do it. You know, like if you don't feel like going to the gym, just get in your car and drive away.
Right, exactly.
Right? Like,
and it happens all the time, right? I've been going to the gym consistently for an entire year, and I would say more than half of the days, there's days where I just don't want to go.
Yeah, but I just
go. I'm like,
that's how I look at it. I don't want to I don't need to be pumped up like, today we're gonna get the stock market. Like, nah, all right, I just do it. So I feel like when you don't need motivation like that, especially that comes like externally, then you don't need to like worry about losing or finding it. You just become a robot and turn off your emotions.
For me, when I lose motivation, which, sometimes I wouldn't really necessarily say it's losing motivation, but there's those days where you're just really tired.
You're just down,
You're just down, you just don't feel like doing nothing. Do something. You need to figure out what works best for you to reset yourself, right? Only you know what works best for you. Give yourself that reset. Maybe you might just need to lay in bed and watch some movies all day, or maybe you might need to take a trip somewhere, or maybe you might need to go to your favorite restaurant, or maybe you might need to be around people that you enjoy being around. Do what you need to do and get back to it, right? So, we all have those times where we just are down, we're feeling tired, we're just, I guess, not motivated, but you should never really need motivation. You shouldn't need anyone to motivate you. You shouldn't have to be waiting for someone to post something. You shouldn't have to watch a YouTube or listen to a podcast to get motivated, right?
If that helps you, that's cool.
But if you're falling into a trap when you're relying on others for your motivation, right? You should motivate yourself. You should be wanting to get better, whatever it is that you're looking to do.
I like what you said. There's little things that you know about yourself that you can do that'll snap you back in. Right? When we were in Germany before work, this is like, I hit like a mode, you had already left, hit a mode where I just hated going. And you know what I used to do? I used to watch SpongeBob before I went to work because I would laugh. Like I love SpongeBob, it's hilarious.
Right.
So I would like go to work like thinking of all the jokes in my mind. So then when I get to work, I'm just like already laughing and giggling and stuff. And I'm like, I don't take anything serious because I'm thinking of all the like SpongeBob jokes and stuff.
Like we know ourselves better than anybody else will know yourself. So figure out those little things that kind of give you that nostalgia, that good feeling. You know what I mean? Get to it, but don't dwell on it. Don't let it veer you off your path. Right? You gotta stay on track. You got to keep going after what it is that you want to go after. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. For a whole life, there should never be an end game, right? You should never get to a point where you're like, all right, you know what, I'm comfortable now. I don't want to do anything, right? You should be wanting to, get better. And then once you feel like you're at a point to where you're at the best version of you, bring somebody up.
And that's a whole nother challenge.
That's a whole nother challenge. And then when you do that, keep doing something to either get better or help somebody else get better. And then it's a continuing cycle to where you don't get in that comfortable state. I always say being comfortable is worse than crack. And a lot of people laugh and it sounds funny, but it's a very, very serious thing. I've seen a lot of people get comfortable and they fall off track really hard, really bad. And they were on a great path. They were on the path that they wanted to be on, and they got comfortable and it knocked them all the way off. So that's kind of my thing for motivation for that person.
For sure. All right. Someone said, how to come back from a loss or series of losses in the beginning of trading, and how to keep a strong mindset when doing so. All right, so this is what I'm going to tell you. If you're taking L after L after L in the stock market, it happens, right? So this is what I think goes on with a lot of people. If you trade a specific style, let's say you trade the same exact style that I trade, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes the market works against your style. And now let's say this happens 3 months out of the year, right? It might happen a week at a time or maybe a month at a time, but in total, let's say it happens 3 months out of the year, right? The key is, one, taking a step back, letting the market play out, or two, realize that if you think that you're just going to go find another style that's always going to work, or another method that's always going to work,
you're going to fall into a trap.
Then you might hit their low too, right? So if you hit the low with strategy 1 and then you move to strategy 2 and that hits a low right after, now strategy 1 is moving, but you're at a low with strategy 2. Right. Now you're always chasing what's high, right? So when my strategy stops working, I stop taking new positions. I'll stop focusing, let's say the market's just falling, right? I'll stop focusing on trading and I'll just get my investments right, right? Because when you're investing, you want to buy at the lowest price possible. So the lower the prices go, the better it is, right? So I'll stop focusing on trading and I'll just move to investments, right? So I'll just, all right, I'll wait for the market to keep falling. In the meantime, I noticed my dividend payers didn't fall as much as tech did, so I'm just gonna, all right, what dividend payers I'm gonna add to, So I'll just shift my focus a little bit, but I'm not trying to try a new strategy or any of that stuff. I'll just wait for it to play out,
And I'm the same exact way. That's out of all the books that we've been reading, and everyone says the same thing. They say, find your strategy and stick to it. Because when you start bouncing around, now you're just chasing, right? You end up going to get that FOMO on these strategies. So people get FOMO on different strategies. So they're like, damn, this isn't working. Let me go read this book and try this strategy. Let me look at this YouTube and try this strategy. Let me buy this person's course and try this strategy. Now you're bouncing around from strategy to strategy to strategy. And that's the same thing that happens with people buying all these stocks that they see running up. Right? When AMC, GameStop, and all that, people were looking for this chase. But did it fit within your strategy, right? If it didn't fit within your strategy, don't worry about it. Stick with your strategy. And the reason that I think a lot of people don't want to stick with their strategy is because it's a long play. This is what people don't realize about the stock market. I tell people, when you put your money into the stock market, that's forever money gone, right? Not necessarily gone, but that's forever money in the market, right? It's a long-term game. And a lot of people don't have the patience to wait a year, 2 years. One of my stocks that I took the biggest hit on took 4 years for that stock to climb out of the grave and put me in the green, right? But it took 4 years. How many people have the patience to be able to wait 4 years? A lot of people are just sold and cut their losses. But I'm like, no, I'm going to ride this thing off to the wheels fall off.
Remember what we were saying on social media during this last sell-off? There were people talking about, I sold all my stocks, now I'm getting into crypto. Because what happened was the market started selling off, and crypto, so the market is going down this way, and crypto was going down up this way. So they sold all their stocks and bought crypto. And guess what happened to crypto? Crypto tanked. So now you don't own these stocks anymore. Your crypto
started running.
And crypto was down, and now the stocks popped and start going back up. Now you're holding.
When you chase and you try to.
And I'm like reading this, and I'm like, you see how everyone's like, after stock market, I'm going to crypto just because it was working that moment. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like, where's your come on now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've seen that a lot on social media. People just chase.
Yeah.
Or like people will come in my comments and be like, oh, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? Like, bro, you know that's not a part of my strategy.
Right.